And we're live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first ever live stream of the Ukraine Plus Football Podcast. Of course, I'm Adam from UKFoot24, here to host the show, as always. And as always, I'm joined by Mr. Zarya Londonsk, my good friend Andrew. How you doing, mate?
Felt better after Champions League night, to say the least. That was a terrible performance we've just watched there. Not entirely sure what happened over there in Transnistria, but not a good look for De Zerbi or Shakhtar in general.
It really isn't. I mean, you watch games like that, you have to ask yourself. I mean, I'd forgotten sort of the run that Sheriff have gone through to get to the group stage, having beaten Dinamo Zagreb, the old Red Star Belgrade. I'm not even going to try and pronounce what they're called these days, but they've beaten some tough teams. I mean, for me, do you think we're all sat here miserable tonight, but have we actually underestimated how good Sheriff were, or is it that just Shakhtar have fallen so much from where we were 12 months ago, as you said, beating Real Madrid in the Bernabeu?
Well, it's a difficult one to really assess. What you can say is that it was a different squad that played in the Bernabeu or wherever the sort of sideshow stadium is that Real Madrid have been playing at whilst the Bernabeu's been getting renovated. That was a much more hungrier team. A load of youngsters in there, Cornien, Cross Solomon, Tete, all the likes. Even Dentinho showed up, as he customary does against Real Madrid. For whatever reason today, it just seemed a bit disjointed. Like the team sheet, you looked at it, it had those big money signings in it, but it just looked a bit average. Marcos, Marlon, Macon, like all of these players, they don't really set the world alight. Well, Marcos has done in the past, that's for sure, but Macon just hasn't really looked anything special ever since he's started been thrust into the mix by De Zerbi. I don't know why that is. Who else? Marlon has looked very poor at the back. I don't know what's going on there in terms of why they're doing that. Matvienko back at the back today, but both him and Marlon relatively poor in the air, and it's sort of the crosses where both goals came from, and they were more or less textbook. And Piatto probably should have done better.
Definitely should. I mean, it's been a pretty awful signing, hasn't it, Marlon at the back? Ever since his debut against Ingolets, it's been nothing but trouble for the poor lad. I feel sorry for him. I mean, what is it though with De Zerbi's just persistence with not playing the Ukrainians? I saw Bondar was on the bench tonight. Kornienko was on the bench, and you think, was it 12 months ago he really made the name for himself with that performance in the Bernabeu? Yeah, he's really got this stubborn resistance to giving the young Ukrainian lads a chance. He didn't bring Mudryk on today until they were 1-0 down or 2-0 down. I forget when the sub was made. What is it with him?
It just doesn't look like he trusts them for whatever reason. I'm not sure. He doesn't even, Mudryk actually did look like a bit of a bright spot when he came on. But, once you're 2-0 down and that sort of momentum drops, the typical 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in football didn't show up today, unfortunately for Ukrainian side. But it's been a general Dinamo will move on to that later. Definitely played better, but they're going to be, I think, off to Dinamo look a lot more promising in Europe than Shakhtar have been so far.
I'd agree with that. Like you say, we'll talk about Dinamo in a bit. I'm just seeing there, Yukiat has just made the comment. Do you think this is one of the big things that is sort of pulling Shakhtar backwards? Is this desire to bring in Brazilians left, right, and centre? Even with the move to the Italian manager, we're still seeing Pedrinho, Marlon coming in. We know that Akhmetov or whoever it is behind the scenes has got this big love affair with Brazilian footballers. But trying to think back now when we did the podcast and we had the Brazilian commentator on with us. He said Shakhtar don't have the financial weight to go and buy the top level players anymore. They go and get these guys that we're not heard of, have gone under the radar, and now we're actually just seeing poor players come in. Fernando, he's another one who I don't get. I really struggle to get. Don't know why he's playing on the left wing there today, and Mudryk should have played instead. It frustrates me. It really does. Sorry, it just frustrates me. We got even Danny Sikan scored for the national team last week. Nowhere seen. We're seen, and it's annoying. It really is annoying. Well, shall we give Vernie Dub some credit? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. He showed the game plan up as he's known the Grim Reaper of Shakhtar. He didn't always get the positive results when he was in the UPL with Zoria, but still, he got a few memorable draws, I think, back in the day, the Haratin era and all that kind of stuff. But in general, he sort of showed Shakhtar, he showed UPL sides how to play against Shakhtar properly and to get a positive result against them rather than just playing for a draw. They had some good pressing that Shakhtar just didn't look like they were used to or even expecting. And for whatever reason, some really poor defending from Dodo and stuff that just weren't getting anywhere near close to the wingers that Sheriff had. That Cristiano was just crossing in for fun whenever they got the odd counter-attack opportunity. And they scored from both of them. Not least to say that Piatto probably could have done a bit better on the first goal, albeit an unbelievable finish.
Mm-hmm. I'm just seeing there the comment from Orest. Apologies if I've pronounced your name wrong there, mate. You're just saying there about perhaps, is it, wrong managerial choice? Do the Brazilian players have more potential within them, or are they being maxed out at the moment? We're saying, no, you need to be able to manage them. Dodo's making mistakes. I saw he made mistakes last year with under Castro as well. Is it just that he can't defend? Or has he got the potential to play better if he's managed better?
It's a tough one, really, because he has looked quite good in the past, but yeah, there must be something defensive that doesn't quite work. Maybe if he did move on to a slightly better league, as he's always being linked with, Bayern or wherever it is, he might pull up on those defensive capabilities with a slightly more advanced coach when he needs to play against those, better sides week in, week out. Whereas in the UPL, there's not that much defending to be done when it's Shakhtar, to be perfectly honest.
And
hello, Tarek.
This is a big issue, isn't it? I know you were at the game at the weekend against Dnipro 1. I'm not going to mention what I called them live on air, but having watched the two games, do you think there is a fundamental problem with the UPL and even one of the top level teams like Dnipro 1 not giving Shakhtar enough of a challenge in going into these sorts of matches? And over the last few seasons, is this level of football getting worse year on year?
Yeah, definitely. You see Dnipro playing some good football against other clubs, but then when it comes to playing against Shakhtar, like they did on the weekend, Dnipro 1, it just did not look anywhere near as sort of forward-thinking, the sort of quick build-up play that they play under Jovic. They were just sitting back the whole game. It was basically about 10 men behind the ball and then trying to counter on it, which is similarly what Sheriff tried today. Shakhtar dominated. There's no doubt about it. Like the stats show that they had all the chances and all that. They just couldn't put anything away. And when you're bringing Marlos on, who's gone 33, 32, really old, and he's still looking like the brightest spark once he's come on as a sub, I think that says a lot for Shakhtar, especially after bringing 45+ million euros worth of players in this summer. Traoré looked okay in the first half, but overall, Pedrinho was invisible. in my opinion, more or less. Marlon, we all know what his lack of, I don't know, defensive capabilities. I don't know. He must be some sort of favourite of De Zerbi is the only reason you can say that he keeps on making this squad. And we already have described, a number of people have told us how poor he was in Serie A. So to bring him over to the UPL, it's not really going to help much.
It's really not. Now, before we move on, the big question I think everyone's gonna be asking is, can De Zerbi even see out the first half of the season? Will Shakhtar just get tired of this, pull the trigger, and decide to get rid of him?
I think that's a bit early. I'm not going to lie. There must be something in his contract that he's going to get something quite a bit of compensation out. And we know that Shakhtar, even though they've got the money to spend, whether they'd be ready straight up to just go ahead and cancel it after one Champions League match. But it doesn't bode well for even their Europa League qualifying now. We could potentially, there's no guarantee that Dinamo will even make it out, will finish third, just off the basis of the other sides they have to play, etc. We could have for the first time ever, not for the first time ever, but first time in a long time, with no Ukrainian representatives in next spring's Europa knockout rounds. Depressing to even think.
It really is. It really is. I suppose it's the right time to move on to Dinamo because, as you said, probably before Tuesday morning, if there was one team that was going to lose their match, I think, hand on heart, we would have expected it to have been Dinamo hosting a slightly stronger Benfica team with Yaremchuk coming back to Ukraine to right all the wrongs of the past, and Shakhtar going to Moldova. And here we are. I mean, first of all, would you say good result for Dinamo? Sort of 24 hours on. I know we had the VAR controversy at the end and everything, but is a point at home to Benfica, do we consider it a good result these days?
Well, a lot of people were saying pre the start of the game they would have taken it all day long. The only sad thing is that the way that the game ended, with Dinamo showing their best sort of attacking intent for the whole 90 minutes, with that 3-minute spell, that's how it sort of slightly leaves a lot more to be desired, I think. Dinamo weren't that bad and showed quite a good game to Benfica, who weren't the best themselves. Yaremchuk didn't really show himself at all. Boyko was quite decent in defence, in my opinion. Shkurin impressed me. It's just a shame that he's just another Besedin in the sense that he's just always going to be isolated. He can't link up play because there's no one around him once he gets the ball. There was he was chasing. He's got a lot more pace than Besedin. He seems a bit more versatile. He ran down the pitch and then he just passed it sort of across the box and there was just nobody there. So I don't know the system of forward that Dinamo need. It probably is the most ideal, ironically, is Dennis Harmash, the one that's just floating in and around everywhere, false nining, playing balls into the box last minute and setting up Shaparenko. That sort of free roam is what it seems to be suiting Dinamo. No one would have thought it the start of this season, I don't think, when Harmash started all these matches, but it looks like probably the only solution to their forward problem at the moment, because they were creating chances, but there was just nothing putting a Benfica keeper in any sort of danger. They were building it up, and then there was either a misplaced pass or Sidorchuk, for me, building up play is just a very negative side of his game. It's a bit depressing to watch. Luckily, Shaparenko alongside him does a bit of both in his box-to-box role. He's like what people want Fred to be at Man United, or where he's going to be crunching the tackles in his own half, getting it stuck in, and then playing it up top, creating chances, scoring the odd goal, and that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, I think the fact that that was the must-win for Dinamo in terms of the home game against Benfica, who are like their closest equals. Maybe with Barca being on such a slump, you could say that Barca are the lower point. And there's every chance that this could be one of those special seasons where Barca completely flop, Dinamo, show up, and repeat the old 23 years ago scorelines without the help of Shevchenko or Rebrov. But
I mean, we got to come back to Shaparenko. We really do. I mean, he is. We're into September now, 2021. Would you say he's sort of almost already player of the calendar year? I mean, what a fantastic year the boys had. Thinking back the Euros as well for the national team, his performances in the national team, just in general, I can't think of anybody who has improved as much as a player, and the presence he has now. He's just such an important player, not only for Dinamo. I'm reading here, it's without him, Dinamo wouldn't be able to leave their own half in European games. I'm not being funny. I think back to the Ukraine-Holland game in the Euros. It was him coming on as a substitute that brought Ukraine back into that game in that match as well for me. And he was outstanding in a number of games there. He's just such an important player. He might be miserable when he's having a photo took with you, but I mean, he is such a talented forward. Can you think of anyone who's improved as much as him?
Over the past probably 12, 24 months, not really. It's not even night and day, because Shaparenko always had promise. It was just that I don't think he was ever utilised properly. He was always played either out on the wing, like attacking midfielder. And I think that Lucescu has coached him into a way where he is getting the best out of him, with both defensively and in attack. And now he's got this sort of confidence and swagger about him that I think he must have lost under Haskevich when he was getting in and out of the team, thrown over to the reserve, sort of left out. I think there was even rumours that he was going to leave Dinamo. I don't know where he would have ended up going. But it's sort of bring it back.
He would have been in Odessa now.
Oh, Roman's here. So let's join him in.
Oh, brilliant.
Hello, Roman.
Hello, Roman.
Hello, nice to hear you, my friends. I'm not prepared to speak English, but I try.
You always do an excellent job, Roman.
Why are you so happy? Because today is a black day in Ukrainian football, because after the last time Dynamo lost in Tiraspol, you remember, yes? Valery Gazayev is go away. He said, I stop my work, because it's finished, Shakhtar paid 46 million per this transfer window. Sheriff don't buy players. Every these players is a free agent, It's unbelievable, I think.
It really is. I mean, we were just talking about what the reasons are, in your opinion, Roman. Why was Shakhtar just so poor? Is it just a general problem with Ukrainian football, or is it something that is to do with the Zerbi's new style of play that he's trying to bring in?
I think we have not only one reason. First reason, I think a big problem when Shakhtar, how they played after where they lose a ball, they need to attack. When you play like 10 players go to attack, when you lose players, you need to attack the ball, to play like a dog for the meat, A Shakhtar is very lose the ball and see, maybe need to smoke, maybe cigarettes. They see how they played. If we speak before the game, I said for you all these sceneries, what will be. I said, Yuri Verniduk will wait for the counter-attack. Shakhtar play with the ball. We all know about this, and Shakhtar not prepared for this. Sheriff very good play, but it's not team without a problem. Because if we see when Sheriff go to make a pressing, have a big big window between the lines. A lot of space between the line, and Shakhtar don't play for this line. It's about the first half. In the second half, not a lot of space, and second half Shakhtar play better after they lose a ball. But Shakhtar not prepared to play this game.
I'm just reading here.
You know,
Somebody said,
I give you one interesting fact. It's about the joke in football. You know Vitaly Reva. Vitaly Reva, it's a guy who's coach now and still play. He's very believed for like a star. About the dot. I don't know how it translates. It's about numerologia. It's something mystery.
Astronomy. Yeah.
Yes. No. It's about the mystery. It's about the mystery. And
Right.
Vitaly Reva, for football player, he said at the courses, coaches license, he said, I see in what time that Zerbi signed his contract, and it's not a good time, so that Zerbi not will be in Shakhtar a lot of times. It's really Vitaly Reva said it's in his lesson, in his lesson.
You've heard it all. You've heard it all here.
Yeah, and he said when Khatskevich signed a contract, I said for Khatskevich, you have a two years. You have a 2 years. Don't worry, you work and no problem. And it was, So it's about the mystery. It's about the mystery.
hey.
But I very sad because it's a joke, yes, but we don't know where we have points in these groups. I don't know where. Real Madrid, Inter, I don't believe really.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
Look,
Really
Roman,
is.
quick question. So, what do you think about the issue that De Zerbi doesn't play Ukrainian players, only Pyatov and Matvienko, in all his Champions League matches? Is that having an impact on his team? Because it's a different from the UPL.
Are you here? Sorry, one guy called me.
Okay.
But if
Someone's calling him again.
Yeah. We've lost you there, Roman, for a second. It's going to be a great story, as always.
No, we can't hear you, Roman. Yeah, at all. Yeah, it's not gone.
Oh, well. It's going to be a brilliant story. I can just feel it, people. I really can. Hopefully it will connect. It will. I
think he's just got to cancel. The call's got to ring out or whatever it is, and then he might be back. Oh,
I agree.
He's cashing out, whatever.
No, and a
That's
rest.
true,
Yeah,
honest. Fingers crossed. Let's hope
we really do. We really do. Now, whilst he's got, of course, it was great to hear from him as always. Andrew, you were at the game, obviously, last night in NSC Olimpijski. Let's just talk about the atmosphere there. 21,000, if I'm right, was the attendance. Are you happy with that? First of all, I mean, I remember going to the game against Everton a few years ago when there was about 60,000 in there and the place was rocking. But I heard a pretty decent atmosphere by all accounts.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, if the fact that we're all used to under 10,000, you can't be, complaining about your blessings or anything like that. But I think in general, it was a general decent game. And once Roman's back and he's not crashed everyone.
Oh, thank God.
Roman.
Sorry, my friend. Mr. Tsegani called me,
It happens. Cool. It happens.
What Tsegani said? He said, a lot of people. You remember when Tsegani criticized scouting of Shakhtar? He said it's not a level of Shakhtar like player like Marcus Antonio, Tete, Fernando. It's not a good transfer. And now he said, you see, these people don't win Sheriff. Sheriff Moldova. What is the level of the player? So about the issue about the Ukrainian players, we see for Sheriff, yes, no any Moldovan players, players. I don't know why he not believe for Taras Stepanenko. I think he is very need for the team because
Agreed.
guy who's worked after the lose. You know, he's like a train who push the ball. You know, need this dog in the center. They need Kante, like Kante guys. They don't have the player. Maicon don't play, don't attack, don't defend. Not good defend. It's a very big problem in Shakhtar. In the structure, when you play 10 players in the attack, you need to be ready when you lose the ball. It's a very big problem. It's my opinion in this story.
Roman, we've spoken a bit on our show about Sudakov in the past. Do you see Sudakov in the future becoming more of a Stepanenko type player? Do you see him as maybe the next generation?
No, very good future, I think, in Sudakov, but it's not guy who play in this center, you know, to be a new Kante for Shakhtar, new Stepanenko. It's another kind of the player, but very good with the ball, very good see the game, very good passes, tackle, very good, but it's not these players. It's one of the problems Shakhtar. Second problem today, I think, not a quickly game with the ball, you know, very slow, very slow. Need to play more quickly, you know, like Man City, one flanks to another and then attacks. Very slow pass, and Sharif have a time to prepare the defense. Not a quickly game in the possession with the ball.
Do you not think it's a problem that Madalos is still such a key player, even though they've bought all these players now with so much money, Pedrinho, but still Madalos is coming off the bench and being like the best player on the pitch?
Yes, really. It's what Tsiganik said, that it's a better player, you know, in the profile. It's a better player than Pedrinho. I not agree with Mr. Tsiganik that think it's a rubbish players. No, they need the time and need to understand how to play, you know. I think Roberto De Zerbi want to play like Paris Saint-Germain in competition friends, you know, when they attack 10 players, you know. He won't, but he's not ready now, I think. He's not ready to play this game. It's my opinion.
Roman, obviously you were commentating last night as well with the Dinamo game. Were you happy with Dinamo's? Were you happy with Dinamo's performance on Tuesday night against Benfica?
You know, when I see a level of the players in Benfica, player like Everton who played 20 games in national team Brazil, Vertonghen, Otamendi, it's a high level, you know. And I think before the game how Dinamo playing against this team, and Shevchenko good prepares Lucescu good prepares the team. Very good. He understands what he wants. He's playing. Oh, hi, my friends. His playing is worked. What in the derby playing doesn't work today. His playing need to put in fire, you know, before the game. So we need to say good words, good sentences, good opinion about the Lucescu, about his philosophy. He could understand what the players he has. When Dinamo tried to play possession, have a big problem. If you remember, put the passes to Sidorchuk, try to play not a long ball and have a problem, very big. And Lucescu understands you need to play a long ball to Skurin, sometimes press in when we need, you know, he's good make this idea of the game.
Thank you. I mean, this is a few people have been saying Lucescu is the big sort of difference almost between Shakhtar and Dinamo at the moment, with the way he is actually coaching the team and adapts the tactics. Whereas, as you said, De Zerbi still, he wants Shakhtar to become the PSG of the Ukrainian league and adapts purely to his style. And there is this big problem going on. What did I was asking Andrew earlier, What did you think of the atmosphere inside the stadium? Were you happy with it? Did it give you some optimism that there was so many people there, even at 20,000 for the game? I think we've lost. lost.
Oh no, Roman is there. No,
It's
Roman, what did
question
you
for
think?
the Ray or for me?
For you, Roman, what did you think of the atmosphere?
Ray is not here.
You know, very good atmosphere because my microphone not hear me during the game in GoPro. He's hearing the stadium. It's not like a Kharkiv, Shakhtar, Monaco. Another situation. If you compare the situation, and I think very good emotion in the finish of the game when Dynamo have a chance to win. Dynamo prepares this to have this last 10 minutes to attack, and it was a plan of Lucescu, really. A player said about this, Sidorchuk said about this, Buyalski said, and stadium in, I don't know how to say in English, you translate, Stadion Ekstaz, Vichuv Ekstaz.
Ecstasy. It was complete ecstasy.
It's like a finish in the sex, It's a finish of this. But this referee deletes this situation, with VAR connections.
Yeah, a shame about that. I mean, I think there's still positives. Well, I hope that more fans come to the Bayern and Barcelona matches. Is there any COVID restrictions, Roman, on the stadiums? Because I don't really understand. It doesn't really say, because there was about 40,000, wasn't it, during the Zbirna games, right?
I don't know. I seen a lot of people. I think third part of the stadium was full. I think. I don't think it's 20,000. Really.
No, it was.
I don't think.
That's what UEFA said after the match. Andrew,
you is a guy who's living in England. You don't understand some situation in Ukraine. It's not the rules. For me, it's not something unusual because I see a lot of unbelievable situation in Ukraine. For example, I went to the Kryvyi Rog and my train, how would say, go after 4 hours. We need to come at 6 o'clock. We come at 10 o'clock. And it is Ukraine. It's not normal, but we live in this country.
It's true. It's true. Hey, Ray, great of you to join us, mate. I hope you're well as well.
My friends, I need to go, because my wife is waiting me second day till the evening. I don't see. I only, today it's a last story. I go sleep at 4 o'clock in the night, and she is open eyes. She said, "What's the time?" I said, 4 o'clock. She said, "I need to sleep only 1 hour." After that, so we only 1 hour together in this situation.
Oh, you are Mr. Professional. You really are, Roman.
I try. You also, my friends. I very believe for your project, and you make a good attitude about the Ukrainian football.
Thanks very much, Roman. Really enjoyed
you coming
along. And I would like to say my respect for your tour. It's very interesting. I read articles. You're a very good guy, really. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Cheers, Roman. Take care.
Thanks.
Take care. Ray, great of you to join us, mate. Mr. Vernidub made you happy tonight, then?
First of all, hello everyone. I'm the co-host of this podcast. If you are wondering, at least was until now. I hope still is. Yes, definitely. Vernidub is a grim reaper of Shakhtar, an evil genius of Donetsk team, and you can recall his matches against Fonseca in UPL, and he didn't lose his touch at all.
He really hasn't. It was such a disappointing game for Shakhtar tonight. But I know you saw the Dynamo game as well. Were you happy with the point in general? Do you think Dinamo have got enough in them to get that third spot? It seems weird that we talk about third, even second. I mean, when the draw was made, we all said fourth place is a given. Do you see them now climbing out of that fourth spot in the group?
Same as before, I don't see that happening now. Even after this draw, it didn't solve anything, and it didn't show or prove anything at all. As it felt cathartical for me to see that goal scored in the end. It felt like a payback for all those dramatic outcomes with Portuguese teams, and again these two matches with Benfica in 2016. The decadence of Rebrov, his last years at Kiev, and now we score, and there's this, the dish served cold, but disallowed from because of the Garmash offside, and no assist for him. Shame, of course, but as I said previously, we're expecting, or at least should be expecting, 0-18 in the end. If we talk about goal difference for Dinamo in this group, a couple of anti-records broken. So the whole match yesterday looked like Ferencvaros ripoff, And like last year, they fought with Ferencvaros. They made this match the greatest battle of their lives, and Popov solved it. By the way, I love to see this sponsor on Dynamo Kiev kit on the sleeve, which says Pitbull. I would love to see Popov in that kit. I just wait to see it.
It really would. I mean, what a great image that would be. It really certainly would. Now, guys, what matches have we got coming up next? I just saw one pop through. Super Cup next week, Dinamo against Shakhtar. Now, after this, what are your predictions for it? I mean, have Shakhtar even got the slightest hope of beating Dinamo on the basis of the performances we've seen?
I don't know. I think it's going to be a draw, and then it's probably going to go to penalties.
You'd hope so if it's a draw.
I wouldn't be able to call it because, however, actually they've not met in the league yet, and then they meet, I think, like a week after in the league, so it will be interesting. Shakhtar have sort of not looked too good over the past few weeks. They've got those poor results against Alexandria, against Minai. Yeah, Dinamo should be the favourites if we're just going off sort of UPL and in general their conciseness, compactness, game plan. But I think they're going to make a meal of it, just because, like I was saying, that when you're relying on Harmash as your sort of centre forward false nine,
of course, who else, man? Who else?
It's ironic that is the best thing that's working for them at the moment in attack, but I just don't think that is always the most reliable. Shkurin, as we've already spoken about earlier, he's got the first touch of sort of like a dog or something like that, you could say. I feel for him because he's got a lot of effort, a lot of energy. He just seems a lot more hungry than Besedin. But for whatever reason, it just never works out for him when he wants to convert whatever he's thinking in his head. Maybe Ramirez might be back by then, but he probably won't be fit enough to play. I want to see more of him because we've really not seen anything from him, and he looked quite good on his debut, albeit that was against Minai as well. And then Vitinho. Lucescu's already come out with this 3-4 million euro signing. He said that there's a lot more adaptation that needs to be done. How much more adaptation is he going to need? 3 or 4 years before he makes it into the team? I just want to, that guy's, I think, the biggest signing money-wise for Dinamo over the past 5+ seasons or something ridiculous. So you'd expect that he'd be making it into the team at some point soon. No idea what's happening with him. But yeah, it looks like the tie is in Dinamo's favour. That's for sure, depending on recent results and recent performance and general recent mindset, I think, because Shakhtar looks slightly lost at the moment in what they're trying to go for. And they need to buck up if they want to get anything from Real Madrid and Inter Milan in the Champions League.
It could get painful. It really could. I mean, Ray, do you see it any other way, bar that?
Yeah, sorry, Adam, can you repeat that, please? Yeah.
Sorry, mate. Do you see it any other way, bar that? You know what Andrew just said.
Again, I didn't quite catch that.
I'm coming right up to
Sorry?
the microphone now, so you can get me. Do you see it any other way? Do you see Shakhtar, at all being the even slight favourites going into this game, or is it Dynamo's game to lose based on present form?
The Super Cup, Ray, next week.
Yeah.
I think what we should be asking is whether Shakhtar needs a Portuguese-speaking coach or any other coach, and who is coming to replace the current one. That's the topic to discuss for me, obviously, because for now, this match wouldn't solve anything and wouldn't show anything. It's only the beginning.
Fair enough. I mean, guys, I've really enjoyed this tonight. It's been quite good fun, and I really enjoyed reading all the comments coming through. Bogdan is not a happy man tonight. We can see that seriously. It wasn't a great performance at all by Shakhtar today. It really. I think in summary, we're seeing Ukrainian football hitting a new low. Almost, if that's not too harsh to say, with this result tonight. Andrew?
Yeah, well, just as we're recording live here, guys, Edward Sobol has got an assist for Club Brugge against PSG. They're 1-1 against PSG for now. But, I mean, that's positive signs. At least some of our players are doing okay in Europe. And that's what I want to end on. Before we end on the whole thing, Adam, Malinovsky.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I forgot, mate. I forgot.
Ruslan Malinovsky has come out today with a public kind of... Let me just get rid of Ryan. He's coming back in. So, yeah, Ruslan Malinovsky has come out with a public comment on the recent comments from Alexander Petrikov, the acting head coach of Ukraine, who said that Malinovsky got offended by him when he was taken out of the team, and in general he left the camp early after he asked to leave the camp early, and it looks like it's a very bad precedent. Malinovsky came out today saying that I wasn't offended. I'm completely not above the team. I completely understand when a manager doesn't have me as part of the plans and I don't work as part of the system. That's fine, but I don't appreciate him telling other players, other teammates, that I am not compatible rather than to my face. And this is already setting a very bad precedent in terms of what's going on here. And is it going to cause a fracas in key matches that's been a must win in October? Mm-hmm. It doesn't look good, sadly. And I'm not sure what that's going to end up with.
It's going to be a watch this space, definitely. There'll be a lot of discussion going on behind the scenes. Maybe Sobel will make the bench for the next game.
He might start. he started against France, don't forget, Orest. But, we'll see what happens. It's a weird one. The only issue is I understand why he's not being picked in the team, because for whatever reason, you need that holding midfielder, which is always going to be either Stepanenko or Sidorchuk. Mm-hmm. And now Shaparenko's become sort of indisplaceable.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
Player on ability alone in the squad, or sort of out of current Ukraine players, and he's showing that for Atalanta. I really don't know how this is going to be resolved, but knowing Petkov, he's going to be stubborn. He might not even call him up. That would actually be a massive bombshell if he doesn't, based on the fact that he's still turning out for Atalanta playing well and stuff like that. But he brought Bielski in. And I think that Bielski and Malinovsky play in similar positions, in my opinion. It will be either or for them, but even Bielski doesn't fully fit into what's going on. And I know that a lot of people mention that Malinovsky plays sort of right attacking mids, even a bit wider. And he'd only probably fit in his actual proper position where he'd excel in if Yarmolenko was taken out of the team. And at the moment, I just don't see Yarmolenko being taken out, really, because he's, the captain, the talisman. Okay, he's not even been that great in recent matches, but he seems to be helping out in defence. He's tracking back a lot and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know where it leads him. It's weird. I know that, like as Bogdan's saying here, Malina's not been playing too well, but he's not been playing in the position that favours him. And it's difficult. Playing left wing for Ruslan Malinovsky with not that much pace or, the ability to beat a man or something like that, rather than driving and playing in sort of acute passes. It's a weird one.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I agree completely with you. I've seen a lot of discussion about him over the past sort of 10 days in particular. And when I think the recent matches, I don't see where he fits in the team without, as you said, without taking out Yarmolenko. And I don't see Yarmolenko being pulled out of the team yet. He may be 12 months, 24 months away, but at this stage, definitely for the remainder of this qualification cycle, he isn't getting pulled out of the team. He was poor at the Euros. We know he was carrying an injury. You put him out on the left wing, and it was painful to watch. We don't want to see him out there.
Yeah, but I think that's even the comment. Like, if he was really that badly injured, I understand he was such a key man, but being shoehorned into wherever he was being shoehorned into during the matches with an injury on top, so he couldn't play to his best ability, it didn't really help anyone, let alone himself. And it sort of diminished his own rep for the national team slightly. It's all a weird one. Hopefully, when the October games come around, there will be some sort of coherent response, because we know that Petrakov's open with what he's going to say. So it's probably going to be something explosive once again. And I don't know, for whatever reason, just following this kind of stuff, I know that a player isn't above the team or anything like that, but it seems less and less likely that Petrakov will be kept on after this qualifying campaign, regardless of what happens, really. I just think he's slightly too open for maybe the good of the team as a whole.
And probably the wishes of the UAF as well. But you hear stories like Malinovsky's, and I think we've seen across football over the years, international level, really talented domestic players who just haven't quite fit into the national team. And, from my generation, I remember, Matt Letizia, even Glenn Hoddle from the generation before me, two players who hardly ever played for England and were absolutely world beaters at club level. But they always said you could never fit them into their team. And it may just be a case for Malinovsky over the next sort of 12 months. He has to sit on the sidelines while Yarmolenko deservedly sees out the end of his national team career. And then it will be his time then. I remember being asked, there was when we were on Sky Sports with the England game over the summer, and people were asking if Malinovsky should move to the Premier League. And if he was going to be to turn around, I said, I don't even see him starting for Ukraine in that England game. And of course, he wasn't in the squad in the end because of his injury. But you could just see there is this whole sort of separation from what he does here for the national team at the moment compared to what he does for Atlanta. And there are players where we just have to accept that this is the case and celebrate what they do at the domestic level.
Well, it's weird because that's what everyone's saying about Zinchenko as well, that he's probably no longer a shoo-in for the national team himself at centre mid. So, you know, but it's just because of obviously the fact that he plays for Man City, it seems that he's a bit more indispensable than Malinovsky for whatever reason, and can play in that defensive role. Although he didn't even look too good against the Czech Republic, played some wonderful passes, no doubt about that, but maybe that might be better utilised when he played it against Sweden at left wing back. You know, if we're going to be, if we've got that left wing issue, why not play Zinchenko there? I just don't get that whole concept. But that's for another day.
Yeah, I agree completely with you. But we're going deep off now, aren't we?
This is no longer UCL, guys. But thanks everyone for listening. Really appreciate this sort of first ever live stream. Obviously, thanks to Roman for coming on, chatting to us for a bit. Next time, hopefully, Ray's going to be here for a bit longer whenever we do.
Longer than both of
you. Good stuff.
Brilliant.
But yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, guys, we've got the you've got our Ukraine tour videos coming out very soon. I'm still editing them. It's a bloody pain in the neck when you don't really know too much editing.
Yeah, I'm expecting that. I'm looking forward to it.
They'll be coming soon. So don't worry about it. Be subscribed. We've got more content. We'll probably have some more live streams coming up in the future. Maybe at some point we'll announce it on our socials. But thanks very much for the support. It's been great reading the comments here today. Some funny ones, some insightful ones, good topic starters, and keep it Ukrainian football. Until the next time.
Definitely. We'll be back soon with a podcast release in the next week, I would imagine.
Of course.
Oh, it's been great fun, guys. Great fun.
All right. Until next time, everyone. Slava Ukraini.
All right.
Slava.